the Lords of Magic GS5R3
Welcome
tutorial, part number
to
4.
Lords
In
of
part number
Magic.
3 we covered Thieves, the Logs, Villages, and Potions, and also the multiplayer room. This time around, we're going to look at
Please select
Wizards.
your leader to the Circle of Light.
I'm going to
Has no beginning
use Chaos
or
as a
end.
demonstration for a wizard because it's got a couple of interesting spells I want to talk about. And for the purposes of the mod and this tutorial, I am going to use cheat spells to progress things along. Now we'll look at the intelligence window, and you'll notice here in just a moment that we can see the tooltips in the intelligence window, and it will display the barter value of that spell. The barter value of spells won't show up in any other window. Now, right here with Chaos Spirit, whenever it says it'll summon 3 goblins, 1 ogre, 2 lions, 3 wolves, and 1 cyclops, it'll actually summon that number of goblins. So it'll summon 3 goblins, or 3 wolves, or 2 lions. Reincarnation, its cost has been reduced quite a bit, from previous versions of the mod, previous generations, and that's because it'll revive your character, but as a different faith, or in some cases a different class. But for champions, it's just a different faith, the same class. We got Dolomitak, Panther Walker, Lady of Chaos. We're going to take her into combat. Let's refresh this artifact, since we did use cheats, and by we I mean me.
I'd like to cast something.
This spell right here, Change of Fate, is a really awesome spell, and it is a spell that can only be... The knowledge of this spell can only be acquired through a legendary artifact. I believe it's the legendary artifact Amulet of Fate. That's actually the Thief's legendary artifact for Chaos. Basically, if you come into combat with very weak units and you fight an army that's, at full hit points, the life points of your army and the enemy army are going to average out. So you're basically effectively taking away half of the enemy army's health and adding it to your own. But like I said, it's a powerful spell, and it's very useful whenever you use it against enemies who have more health percentage-wise than you do. Now I'm going to use a Shimmering Veil, give myself some extra armor and some resistance, and I'm going to use Polymorph Self. Oh yeah. Got myself turned into a Grendel. I'm just going to beat the living crap out of everybody. I'm level 15, got the Shimmering Veil, and also the Grendel is pretty strong anyway with its resistances. And Polymorph Self spell actually provides some bonuses to attack and armor, above and beyond what the unit being transformed into has. Now, Polymorph Self only has a 30-second duration.
Whatever.
You will start to flash.
I know where to
whenever it's
go.
about to wear off. Drake time. I'll get rid of that. Ranged bastards. With Polymorph Self, you can actually turn into a legendary creature if you're level 15, and you just get a good enough randomized roll to do so. One thing I want to talk about is that not only just levels and the amount of stats, the stats do play a big role on your barter value, but for wizards, your barter value is actually increased for each spell knowledge that you have. So with the spell knowledge of chaos spells, for if you're a chaos wizard, and that that increases your barter value by an amount relative to the barter value of the spell. I think it's either I think it's like 1/10 of the barter value. So just knowing Blind Rage increases the barter value of all my casters by +8. Also, another big factor is how much mana you have out of your maximum. So by the next turn, this 3706 should increase probably by 100 points or so. So I'll go ahead and
Yes,
combine my army
I eagerly await.
and end the turn. Now we're looking at 3706. Let's speed up a little bit. It actually increased by quite a bit because I do have quite a bit of spells. So the less mana you have, the less your wizard's going to be worth in trade, and also it's going to be less effective in auto-calculating a battle. So there used to be a tactic of going into battle and spamming bolt spells, killing the big
I am
units.
the one you seek.
That is still very helpful. It doesn't really change it a whole lot, but it's still helpful.
Move
But the
now.
less
I am
mana you
the one
have,
you
the less
seek.
barter value you have, and the less effective.
Okay, all together
effectively
now. Turmoil await.
The portents are
wizard is
favorable.
in total. Now, another thing to mention about Destruction Spell is that it will damage any units in its path. That's why I got my goblins and my stick throwers out of the way, because otherwise, I mean, this spell is just going to go whoosh. It's going to shoot out, and it's going to like target all the enemies that are clustered together in that radius. So this missile here and this missile here, you know, this one could actually affect the same one that this one did. I mean, it just goes through them. So we're talking 15, or actually no, yeah, 8 to 15 damage being done. So that could actually, you know, I could actually do 16 to 30 damage because the 1x is equal to my level, and the random 8. So really, if I get 2 missiles to hit the same guy, that's 16 to 30 total damage, which is quite a bit. And it's not a perfect spell. It doesn't follow. It doesn't track down units. It will just, like, at the point that I casted it, that's pretty much where it'll spread out, or maybe it's the time of release is where it goes, and then it just follows a straight path. I'll demonstrate Chaos Bolt on this Wisp. Oh yeah, I casted a Rock Sling on a Will-O-Wisp, and that was just perfect because they're weak against Earth Magic. Curse, Lightning Bolt, Righteous Bolt, Ice Bolt. So I can cast any bolt spell unless I am a gnome. Gnomes can't cast Lightning Bolt. I mean, they can actually cast the actual spell, but it's disabled for gnomes to cast lightning through this spell because they never show a lightning bolt. So it's just kind of like an invisible bolt spell. So I just thought I'd disable that because it looked weird. So that's a little bit about wizards, at least for Chaos. I showed you a couple of their neat little spells. Let's see. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to
I am prepared.
kill quite a bit of these people. I'll use good old Vortex. Costs 10 mana. Does 1 to 3 damage because based on my level. 15 divided by 5. I'll target the guy up front. Hey you, guy up front, you're dead.
Destroy. They shall meet my
One thing I hate about sprites is that they will automatically cast the spell Pixies, which will reduce my sight radius over time. Every 3 turns,
Destroy.
it will
I'd like to cast
reduce my sight radius by 1, so it's in my benefit to use a Dispel spell or go to the capital and dispel it that way, which can get expensive. I have a Holy Saber spell, It's a spell scroll. It'll basically convert a portion of my life into life magic damage. It'll actually convert 50%, and your saber spells can stack together, so if I have Holy Saber and a Fire Saber spell on at the same time, I'll basically be doing 1/3 physical, 1/3 life, and then 1/3 fire damage. So for each saber spell you have active on you, it basically divides the portion equally among physical and however many saber spells you have. So if you had 9 saber spells cast, even though there's only 8, but for the purposes of telling you, if you have 9, that basically means 1/10 physical damage out of the total attack that you do. I'm going to replenish my mana with that sheet, then I'm going to dispel, because I really don't want that pixies on me. And I'm going to demonstrate in this encounter here the Holy Saber
I am
spell.
the one you seek.
It'll actually show up the kind of damage that you've done in the combat log. It'll show also what spells you cast in combat, but it won't tell you the damage that a bolt spell has done.
Life has you wish.
And life and the saber spells actually do work on ranged attacks
I
now.
will feast upon the lifeless.
One thing to know about polymorph is that when a champion is polymorphed, their artifacts are still factored in from whenever before they were polymorphed, and also spells will factor in.
You
So
too will die.
If I cast Shimmering Veil on myself and then turn into a Spirit Warrior of Order, it won't reduce my armor because it's just the mod has already been applied. Now, Shade isn't a very powerful
I am prepared.
unit compared to what other things I could polymorph into. Oh, a Pegasus Rider. Yeah, I'm going to destroy some stuff now. And whenever you polymorph, you also get the on-attack or on-defense spells that the actual unit itself would get. So, like, with a Pegasus Rider, it'll have a Blessed Armor automatically get cast upon it. Like just now.
In your honor. In your honor.
It's about to wear off.
In your honor.
I'm just going to auto-calculate it from there, because I killed enough guys to auto-calculate with very little risk to my character.
I eagerly await.
What more could I cover? Well, I suppose I could mention one more thing.
I eagerly await.
In the statistics window here, the missile factor, cavalry factor, and infantry factor does have an effect on auto-calculating. Like, as previously stated, infantry are good at defeating cavalry, cavalry versus missile, missile versus infantry. It's rock, paper, scissors kind of balancing there. And if you have more missile units in your party, not just equal to, it has to be greater. If you have more missile units than they have infantry units, your party actually gets a bonus to its final calculations in auto-calculate combat. And the same applies with the others. Cavalry, if you have more cavalry units than they have missile units, but they have to have at least one. That's another stipulation. They can't have just 0 missile units, and then you have 1 cavalry unit, and expect yourself to get a bonus. Now it's either you have to have at least 2, and they have to have at least 1 in order for there to be some sort of a bonus given to auto calculation.
I am prepared.
So that's something to think about. Also, spell scrolls. They do come with limited charges. You could actually look to the message board to find out. Well, actually, the FAQ, the FAQ, frequently asked questions on the website, mantera.zorgate.com. Yes, it's pronounced Zorgate, X-O-R-G-A-T-E. You can look at the fact there, and that'll explain how many charges a spell gets, and it's all based upon mana. And scrolls generally, the spell scrolls generally replenish 1 charge every 3rd turn if equipped, and then every 7th turn if unequipped. So some spell scrolls will get recharged whenever they're not equipped, just at a very, very lesser rate. And then another thing to explain about artifacts is it provides +1 divided by 3 armor. That +1 is supposed to be your level. So if you are level 1, you will get +1 armor because certain stats that give +1/3, like the armor or the mana, it'll give you at least 1. But if it's something like +1/5 or +1/7, it won't give you that benefit. So if you're level 15, 15 divided by 3, you get +5 armor if you're level 15. Now there are other artifacts that provide a bit more, I guess you could say, difficult equations on figuring out how much resistance it gets. So 10 divided by 3. So basically, I would say that every 3 levels you get +10 resistance. So you could use the denominator as the number of how many levels you need to get 10. So every 3 levels you get +10 order resistance, and every 5 levels you get +11 magic resistance. And another thing to note is that even whenever you have magic resistance existing, also with order resistance, it's not like they combine, they're just dealt with separately. And warrior suits of armor, they use artifact mana, and it has 1,000. With some artifacts, such as dragon scale armor, this 1,000 mana actually has an effect on how much attackers will suffer burning. So this armor will burn melee attackers, but only if it has more than 500 artifact mana. So it's good for doing about 500 burnings, which, depending on how many combats you want to fight per turn, it's all up in the air. And dragon scale armor, it'll provide plus additional 5 extra armor versus water creatures, but at the same time it'll be -5 armor versus fire creatures. So the 5 armor gained from this artifact, it's like it's non-existent whenever you're fighting a fire creature. So there you go. And also every one level you gain +5 resistance to air, fire, and water. So I hope that explains a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to conclude part 4 of this tutorial here. I'm not sure if it's necessary to do a part 5, but we'll see in the future. If anybody has any questions, post them to the message board or post them to the YouTube channel. Also, you can look for the Lords of Magic community on Facebook. I'm the admin of that, so you can put your questions and comments in there too. So you have your options. Anyways, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.